I just started recording the meeting. Okay. You can hear me, right? Great. So, hello everyone, and welcome in today's session. Thank you so much for joining. Today's session is Module 6, Funding Art Projects, and it is powered by the project PALkonnect and the partners from OECON Group in Greece. And today's trainers will be Mrs. Elena Kopanarova and Mrs. Alexandra Thomaidou. Thank you so much. Now, a few words about the project PALkonnect before we dive into today's training. The project PALkonnect engages cultural, artistic, and research organizations in order to stimulate European awareness and empower people from current and future generations to respect inclusion and diversity and to be successful innovators in their local environment. Now, the aim of this project is to support artists from social inclusion groups to present and promote their artworks in the post-COVID-19 circumstances and to inspire their cooperation within the European countries. Now, in today's session, Mrs. Kopanarova and Mrs. Thomaidou will take you through the main principles and steps to be taken into consideration when wanting to get funding for an art project. So you'll be introduced to the existing funding possibilities and the ways to get involved. You'll be trained on how to build your own ideas into a project and link it to existing funding opportunities. And you'll get the help needed in order to find an appropriate funding for your ideas and projects. Now, there are some general rules about these trainings implementation. First and foremost, you have already agreed in your registration with the GDPR, and in accordance with the GDPR and the project's requirements, we inform you that the current node training should be recorded. Therefore, if you don't wish to be recorded, you might as well turn off your cameras. And that also applies to some screenshots that will be taken later during the session for promotional purposes. Also, an attendance list will be shortly shared to you in the chat sections to be signed by all of you. And please do it because it's really necessary for the requirements. And besides, an evaluation form will also be shared by the end of the session with you. Again, to be filled digitally by all of you. And this is the attendance list that I will share with you in a few minutes. And this is the evaluation form that you will be requested to fill in by the end of today's session. Now, some rules of communication. First, in case of questions, please first raise your hand, and then when the trainers give you permission to speak, you can unmute yourself and ask your question. Therefore, during the whole session, your microphone should be muted. As I've already mentioned, the meeting is being recorded, and I guess you can see an automatic message appearing on top of your screen. We're going to ask you to open your cameras when we're taking photos, and in the attendance list that I will share with you, please make sure you write your names and the names of your organizations to appear correctly. You will also have to sign the attendance list. You can either drag and drop your signature if you have in a image format. Otherwise, you can just write your name. It works for us as well. And if you do not seem to have, by any reason, access to the attendance list or the evaluation form right now, I will make sure I will provide you with them with an email by tomorrow. Now, today's agenda, we're already half done with the welcoming, the rules, and registration. Now, there will follow an introduction, and then you're going to be taken through the main principles of writing a funding proposal. Then the steps of when preparing an application for funding. And then we're going to have an exercise, a practical part, in order to design a project step by step. In this part of the session, you will all be separated in some breakout rooms. And with the help from Mrs. Kopanarova and Mrs. Thomaidou, you'll create a project idea step by step. And when we come back to the main room, you will present it to all of us. And in the last 10 minutes of the session, we'll have the pros and remarks and the filling of the evaluation form. So thank you very much for joining today. And that was all from me. And now I'll give the floor to Mrs. Kopanarova. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I'm always happy to see so familiar faces here on Friday. So hope that you're going to enjoy this session. So we have tried to schedule to create a training program for how to create your art project, but we try to fit it within 2 hours. So it's possible that a lot of things you're going to have a lot of questions and a lot of things can be set more. And we'll be happy to provide this feedback after the training, but unfortunately we have 2 hours to go, and this is how we have planned the training. So starting very briefly, the module is prepared from the experts from OECON Group Business Consultancy. We are situated in Thessaloniki, Greece, and we have worked from February to July in order to set up this training curricula. So we have 4 main topics that have been prepared by our experts, and the overall duration of the training is 4 hours. In the 4 hours, we have a bigger training session, a bigger session that is linked to the exercises. And of course, you can be shared the whole procedure and the whole information. So the aim of the training is to introduce you to the existing funding opportunities and the ways to get involved, to train you on how to build your own idea into a project and link it to existing funding opportunities, help you to find an appropriate funding for your ideas and projects. It's very important that we have tried to orient the training to the individuals, to the artists, and not so many to organizations. Of course, we have also information that the organizations are willing to have in order to be able to participate in the art projects, but mostly targeting all the artists. So the lessons of the modules. So we have an introduction session, which is about 10 minutes in theory. We have a main principles of writing of funding proposals, which is a 30 minutes theory. We have preparing my application for funding, which is 30 minutes, and there's theory and practice. Design project step by step, which is actually our exercise, which is we are going to need 40 minutes about it. Test and certificates. And starting very briefly, and before starting with the introduction session, I want just to ask you for a short icebreaker. So please write what your expectations of this training in the chat. So we are going to, both of us, both trainers are going to be able to check what are your expectations, and if we are able to orient and have more details on your expectations, we'll be happy to do so. So you can write in the chat whatever are your expectations of this training. Okay, so there is a no time limit, so you can write it any time you want. So if you can go to the chat and write what your expectations of this training. So what you're expecting to learn for this training. Okay. Are there any expectations or no expectations? Right kind of funding source for a given time or art project. Okay. It is easy for us. Have no real idea about how these kind of proposals are written or evaluated, so information is useful. Okay, we are starting with this done with vocabulary to learn how to plan funding step by step, not forget anything. Okay, I have to learn more about different ways of fundings. Okay, how to structure project application. Great. So actually, we have prepared a very extended part which is linked on the existing funding opportunities for artists. But due to restricted time, we are going to share it by email. So you're going to have all the links and information. I'm going very briefly to name the open proposals, but it is impossible to present all of them because actually we have about 15 different programs for artists that are active opening every year. So it will be time consuming to present them one by one. But you're going to receive this information because I believe that after this training, you can start searching for the specific goals and to go for your proposals. Okay, how to find the right partners for a given project. Okay, excellent. So thank you very much. So we are starting with the introduction. So the current part is going to include practical exercise, is going to introduce you to the information that you need before starting your own project. So we are starting with some main questions like what is European funding, types of funds, general funding principles, who can participate. So the European Union funding opportunities are numerous and diverse. The European Commission has implemented a number of programs to boost jobs growth investment through financial framework for the next programming period. Non-governmental organizations usually receive funding from a number of programs such as European Social Funds, Creative Europe, Europe for Citizens, Horizon, and many others. So, however, the funding opportunities may also be found in other areas. Much depends on the nature of the project submitted, its scores and priorities. Although our lesson will provide a first overview of the European Union funding opportunities in a different policy areas, applying for European grants and uh, summarizing, they can be a different type of funds. So we can have a grants, we can have financial instruments, which can be loans, guarantees, and equity, subsidies, trust funds, prices, procurements, and one by one. So the grants are the direct financial contribution from the European Union budget awarded by way of a donation to third-party beneficiaries. Engage in activities that serves European Union policies. These expenditures are mostly subject to centralized management of the European Commission, either directly by its own departments or indirectly through European Union agency, exclusive agency, or national agencies. Grants represent a major part of European Union expenditure and falls into two broad categories. Grants that finance across intended to help to achieve an objective that forms part of the European Union policy, or operating grants that finance the operating expenditure of a body purchasing of the aim of the general interest. So for you, in order to keep in mind is that organization can apply for a different kind of grants, and important part for the artists organizations are the operational grants, because the operational grants can ensure your regular work, and they are regularly published by the different European Union organizations, and they can support the operations of your organization for the next 12 months. The financial instruments, as I told you, they can be a different kind of loans, guarantees, and etc. So for this, in order to apply for this kind of funds, you need to prepare a business plan or a plan for a financial operation in order to apply. The prices are the financial contribution given as a reward following a contest. And through the prizes, the European Union institutions recognize outstanding works and achievements and induce investment. And except of the prizes, in the same category, we have put also the residencies. For the artists, they are quite familiar. So the residencies are actually the opportunities of a different for emerging artists, and not only but for different kind of individuals to implement mobility in another country and be able, as a result of this mobility, to co-create with another artist from the other country hosting them. They have a specific duration, a specific payment, and their goal is just to exchange an experience and sometimes to lead to creation of a common product. The other important part of the funds are subsidies, and the subsidies are a big part of the European funding, and they provide direct cash payments to different kind of organizations, and they are linked to organizations. So that means that they can be companies or NGOs. Important part of the European fundings are the general funding principles. First of all, we are working on the co-financing principle. That means that you need to have your own contribution as part of each one of the projects that you are applying. It is good to remember that the European Union will finance about 40 to 100% of your project. So you always need to make sure how much co-financing is needed. For some projects like a Creative Europe, the co-financing of the European Commission varieties 75%. For some other project like Erasmus Plus, the co-financing can be 100%. No double financing rule. So you need to ensure that you can only use the money to the purpose you have promised to use it in your application. Usually it's possible to combine the European Union grant with another funding, for example, with a local funding and state aid, but the funding should not overlap. So you need to ensure that when you're receiving a funding for one general action, you can split the different initiatives part of these actions from different funds, but do not receive double funds for the same activity. Naturally, you are allowed to have several European projects running in parallel, but the objectives and the activities need to be different in each one of them. And the last one is the no profit rule. This can be tricky, and most of the organizations have an issue to understand that. You must separate your company and your project. Your company can, of course, make a profit, but the project cannot. If the project generates income, you must state and report this income as it may affect the grant. This is because the European Union cannot distort the competition by allowing the grants to be used directly for profit making. This is, of course, different for loans and equity, but please make sure that when you're running an European Union funded project, that at the end of the project, you're not going to generate a profit. Who can participate in the different funding opportunities? Mostly participants are companies, NGOs, public sector organizations, but also individuals. Individuals can participate in the residencies, for example, and they can indirectly be involved in other activities in which companies, NGOs are participating as partners. And this is one of the questions that we are going to try to answer here to Dan about the terminology, the vocabulary we are using when we are speaking about European programs. Actually, this is the starting point for each one interested to start preparing their own projects or starting implementing their own projects. So here we have several terms that I'm going very shortly to explain one by one in order to get introduced to the terminology. So each one of actually starting with what is a project. A project is a series of activities aimed at bringing about clearly specific objectives within a defined time period and with a defined budget. The projects received funds from programs and funds. So that means that the starting point is the program. Different kind of European Commission institutions or any funds or any kind of organizations can provide funds. These funds are based on a specific structure, which is named a program. So in the program, it's written what you need to respect, which are the rules and the procedures in order to receive the payment, the fund from this specific program. So there is a call, announcement of a call, and there is a specific deadline. So that means that there is a program. In the program, it's indicated that there is a specific deadline for submission of your proposals. So that means that there is a CAL manual and or a guideline that you need to go through to read before starting submitting a project as part of the specific program. And in this manual, there are specific eligibility rules. You need to be very careful about the eligibility rules, because sometimes you can have a great idea, but the eligibility of your project, it's not it can cancel your participation. So make sure that you go to the specific part that is linked to the eligibility rules and check the eligibility of your organization, the eligibility of the partnership, the eligibility of the proposal as a total. Mostly, the project proposal, the programs have eligibility rules that are considering the participation of the organizations, like number of years of establishment, like specific kind of activities that they are running, and turnover. Sometimes there is also very commonly eligibility rules that are linked to the partnership. So they can request to have a um, specific number of partners, specific type of partners to get involved, specific roles of each one of the partners. So go through the manual and start with the manual when you're preparing a proposal. Online platforms and AU login user account. So this is something that is linked to the programs Creative Europe, COSME, and this kind of there is a online platform of the European Commission. Alexandra, after, is going to introduce you very specifically to the platform and how you can enter the platform. But it is important to know that there is a platform. You're entering there, you have you need to create your own username and password for this platform, and every time that you want to submit a proposal or you're participating in proposal that another organization is submitting, you need to use your username and password, this AU login user account, in order to receive more information about the application that is going to be submitted or you're submitting. Submit proposal means that when everything you have prepare your proposal, all the necessary documents, you can check the eligibility rules, and you're ready, you can submit your proposal using the online system of the European Commission or the specific institution. So you can submit and set the proposal to be evaluated. Every time there is a call deadline or proposal deadline. So that means that when you're reading the CAL manual, you can see inside that there is a specific date to which you need to submit your proposal. Be very careful. Sometimes there is extensions of these deadlines, but more or less, you need to be on time respecting the deadline. Every time you're submitting something after the deadline, it makes the proposal not eligible. Application form. So this is part of the necessary documents in order to submit your proposal. The application form, it's can be electronical form, can be a specific PDF form, can be Word form, and etc. It contains some specific questions and parts you need to answer in order to present your idea. PIC or OEID number. So these are the numbers that actually are linked to organizations and not to experts. So if you have an organization, you want to participate in funding proposals, you need to go in the European AU login, the online platform that Alexandra is going to introduce after, and create your account. In this account, you're going to be requested to indicate specific information about your organization, the others of the organization, the form of the organization, and upload some documents that are going to support what you have written in the form. And then you're going to receive a PIC number or OID number. So the PIC number, we are using it for Creative Europe and for Horizon projects, COSME projects. OID number, we are using for Erasmus Plus projects. Project duration. Each one of the projects that you're going to plan need to have a starting and ending date. So in the manual, it's written that, for example, we are accepting proposals for 20 months or till 20 months or 20 months to 36 months. So respect the rules and indicate specific project duration. objectives. So objectives are the aims of your project, what you are planning to do, and summarizing the results of your activities. Project plan and work packages. So each one of each project have a specific structure which is considering of different work packages. So the work packages actually are big items in which you can have a sub activities, and they are combining main actions. So you can have, for example, work package for management and coordination, that is going to combine a different kind of activities that are linked to the overall management of the project, the project partner meetings, the quality assurance, evaluation, and etc. You can have a work package that is linked to communication and dissemination, which is going to contain activities such as dissemination manual, newsletters, local dissemination activities, international dissemination activities, and etc. And printing materials. And you can have work package with this link, for example, for link to co-creation, and actually is going to present the different steps of your co-creation project. But it depends on your idea and the objective. So the work packages can be numerous, and actually in the call of the proposals is always written how much they should be, and if there is any specific restriction. The results of the project actually are what we are going to achieve as a result, as a result of the specific activities and the specific project plan, and they can be presented like an output for several of the project. It depends on the program. Page limits. For each one of the project, there is a specific limitation of the pages that you have to present your idea. So please be very careful on that. Coordination beneficiaries. So in order to submit a project, always you need partners and you need to form a partnership. So one of these organizations need to be the coordinator, needs to have the overall responsibilities to submit the proposal and then to implement the activities. So all the rest are beneficiaries. That means that they are project partners, they are participating in the implementation, but they are not coordinating the project. Third parties and associates. It's very common that in the project you can have a third parties and associates. They are not regular partners or beneficiaries. They are organizations that are supporting several or numerous of activities. They are not directly involved in the implementation of all the activities, but in specific activities. They can be third parties, that means different stakeholders that do not have any legal relationship with our organization, or they can be associates, that means that they can have a legal relationship with our organization. For example, if we are a network, we can have our organizations that are part of the network participating in the partnership. So the partnership, as I said before, this is the sum of coordinator and beneficiaries that have a common idea and are willing to work on it. Then we have a partnership agreement. Actually, this is the contract among the coordinator beneficiaries for the implementation of the project activities. We have evaluation. Evaluation is activity that can be implemented during the implementation of the project, but most commonly after the implementation of the project. So I'm stating here the evaluation on the behalf of the fund. So that means that when we are receiving, when we get a fund for our proposal, we are going to get evaluated. And we can be evaluated during the implementation of the specific activities or after the end of our project. On contribution are the funds that we need to pay in order to implement the activities. So from the specific for example, if we have own contribution, if we have a fund of 80%, the 20% can be own contribution. The own contribution can be covered in different ways. It can be covered by the organization funds, by sponsors, but also can be covered sometimes by the in-kind contribution. That means that the staff working on the project can be working more time in order to cover the own contribution. Budget. So each one of the project, the activities should be shown in numbers and should be connected with the specific payments and linked to values. So these values are forming a budget. it's a quite a big topic because there are numerous of different variations of budgets, and each one of the programs have its own variation. So it's important to know that when you're submitting residencies, there is specific indications for the budget, and it is not so budget oriented, which is making the residencies submission project most easier. Eligible costs are the costs that are funded by the program. So in each one manual, it's written which are the eligible costs, and they are stating 1, 2, 3. Like, for example, eligible costs are the staff costs, eligible costs are the travel cost of the personnel that is participating in the project. Eligible costs are the costs for a residency, for example. So there is specific categories in which the budget is split, and there in each one of these categories, there are specific requirements for the eligible costs. Payments. So when you receive a fund, you're going to receive, there is a schedule of the payments. You can receive all the money, you can receive 40%, 80%, 60%, it depends on the specific program. Always on the CAL manual is written how much you're going to receive, like a pre-financing payment, if there is a pre-financing payment, if there are any other corresponding payments. Audit and control, as I told you, after the end of the project, there is evaluation of your performance, which is actually audit. And recovery of funds in case of not completing the rules successfully, and after the result of the audit, you can be requested to recover funds, part of your funding. I don't know if something else you want to ask for, some other term. I try to cover it, whatever it's possible, but of course there can be also other thing, and if it comes to your mind, you can ask me anytime. So there is very short navigation to the existing grants and programs. So we have split them in two groups: artists and companies and NGOs. So for the artists, the existing grants are youth exchanges of the Erasmus Plus program, Iportunius, Roberto Simeta Fund, World Partnership Project, On the Move, Bugliasco Foundation, Mobility First, Free Artist, European Cultural Foundation calls. So these nine calls are open for the artist that wants to participate in a residency or a different kind of small grants that can be awarded directly to experts. The other are linked to companies and NGOs. So we are speaking about Creative Europe, Erasmus Plus, European Solidarity Corps, New European Bauhaus, and Horizon. It's very important to know that the Creative Europe calls for the small scale, medium scale activities are going to open in February approximately 2023. Erasmus Plus again at the beginning of 2023. European Solidarity Corps are open 3 times per year, and New European Bauhaus have a lot of calls that are opening during the year that are linking a different kind of activities. And going to the second part, main principles of writing of a funding proposal. So I try to be as quick as possible in order to catch up the time, but if I'm too fast, please write on the chat so I can slow down a little bit. So how to start drafting a project? So there is specific steps in order to draft a project. A project is a series of activities aimed at bringing about clearly specified objectives within a defined time period and with a defined budget. A project should also have clearly identified stakeholders, including the primary target groups and the financial beneficiaries, clearly defined coordination, management, and financial arrangements, a monitoring and evaluation system to support performance management, and an appropriate level of financial and economic analysis, which indicates that the project's benefits will exceed its costs. Development projects are a way of clearly defined and managing investments and change process. Types of projects can be development projects that can vary significantly in their objectives, score and scale. Smaller projects might involve modest financial resources and last only few months, where the largest project must involve many millions of euro and last for many years. So you need to know that there is a quite range and differentiation of the project. A few reasons why it's worth doing it. Usually preparing a project proposal means that you are applying for a money to implement a certain project. Therefore, a successful proposal means that you will get the opportunity to realize your professional ideas and dreams. Most of the project proposals you are going to elaborate will include a partnership component. Therefore, you have to extend the quantity and the quality of your institution's external relations. You will develop a network of contracts, gain recognition and prestige. The project proposal is not only the sum of all of your genius concepts. If it does include the element of collaboration, it has to be a result of a joint work in deep analysis of the situation and the environment, priorities of each participating country and organization. For that reason, the project you will be working on will be more innovative and more adjusted to your partner organization needs. So that means that you need to collaborate. And small secret on writing a great project proposals. To be brief, it all boils down to proper planning and project visualization before the actual proposal writing start. Not sure what I mean. These are the steps that we need to follow before starting writing the project. Farming the project problem. What do we want to solve? Learning and researching about the problem, laying the project logical framework and sketching out ideas for activities, what could be the solutions, uh, visualization the proposal from the beginning till the end, getting relevant feedback and making revisions, finalizing the project plan, and only then starting to write. This may seem like a lot to do before proposal writing, but these prior steps will save your time, nerves, and motivation when the writing process starts. So much so that in the end, you'll end up spending less time in total. And in other words, the project plan will have the key details and you will just need to elaborate on those when writing. No more making stuff up to go. And which are the steps to outline the project proposal. So this is the second step of development of the European Union project. It's actually the drafting of the project outline. It should be no longer than a few pages and should include the following subcategories: project title, applicant or lead partner, objectives, planned activities, target groups, financial planning, and contact address. This outline helps to make a loose idea more prestige, serving as a clear format to share with potential partners and useful layout when seeking advice from help deskers. The project proposal itself should only be written after the publication of a call for proposal, as we said before, and the true reading of the condition for participation and thematic focus of the call. Be very careful on that. The drafting of the proposal is a time-consuming exercise and a task that can help a single person busy for a week. You should therefore either start your proposal early or consider dividing the work between a team of people. Of course, the application form can have a different layouts, but we'll always ask you for similar information, and all the information on the form must be completed. So beside there are different application forms, more or less the general information that each one of the project is requesting is almost the same. Most of the European programs make use of so-called e-form, which is an online application tool that replaces written applications. The most important elements of the project proposal are the description of the action to be performed and the expected results of the actions, the outline of the action that are not covered by the program, too few actions or not enough innovative action can lead to rejection of the proposal. So be careful on that. Further elements with the high importance are the budget and the work plan, both of which should reflect the actions and expected results. It is crucial to understand key terms of the project proposal, which are aim of the project. It is a statement of quantified requirements so that the project can be regarded as successfully implemented. The aim should include information about the delivered quality in relation to the planned time frame and the budget plan. Project actions, specific measures that are implemented in the course of the project, such as workshops, such as publications of a book or development of a new curriculum plan for an education program, for example. These are the central elements of the proposal. Expected results. Results of the project actions, they can be a material or immaterial nature. So they can be a skills, for example, exchange of experience, or they can be educational material, organization of a conference, etc. European added value. This is generally understood as a project of international character that create a social, cultural, economic, or other advantage for as many regions as possible. For this purpose, the dissemination and communication of the project result and best practices play an important role. Sustainability is a core value of the European Union funding, which shall ensure that the project achievements continue to exist after the end of the project period without additional funding. A very helpful tool for structured project development is the logical framework approach, uh, often called like a log frame. This official tool allows to visualize all the elements necessary for a consistent project proposal in one matrix. Of course, it requires certain information for each cells, such as justification of the project, the result indicators, and risks. Of course, the log framework is requested for some of the projects, for some of the funds, for some other it's not. Other important tool is the program tree analysis, which is a strategical way to identify the problem and its cases with input from the project team, stakeholders, and beneficiaries. In this part, we will try to focus on a few aspects of proposal writing, namely how to define the problem, project goal, general objectives, and results. These basics and their logics are they are very significant for the proper structure and narrative of our application form. When you're writing the proposal, everything starts with a problem. I would recommend you to start writing the proposal with the problem analysis. The problem analysis has a direct impact on the project planning as it strongly influences the design of all possible interventions. To make a long story short, our project should be the answer and the solution to an existing problem. For instance, lack of attractive artistic offers for the audience, weak educational opportunities for cultural managers. So let's try to sketch a few steps on how you proceed. Identify key problems existing in the particular situation and try to establish the following steps. What is causing the key problem? What are the effects, consequences of the key problem? The problem analysis will then help us to define the project goal, general objectives, and results. What do we have to do? Convert the negative situation of the problem analysis into solutions expressed as positive achievements. What do we have to remember in terms of defining the cultural elements of our application form? The project goals give a specific solution to identify a problem. It should be formulated as a change of an existing situation. What we are going to achieve, improve the artistic offer for the audience, develop a new educational program for cultural managers. Usually, a change is achieved through a process, and to describe it, we use a specific types of verbs. For example, improve, strengthen, empower, enrich, develop. minimize or maximize. So the general objective will not be achieved extremely through our project. It is broader impact that our project will contribute to, but will not be able to reach it fully. So the general objective description should be present a situation that our project is helping to achieve. Significant presence and active involvement of the audience in artistic activities, for example. Good quality management in artistic institutions and organizations. Results are the specific outputs contributing to the realization of the project goal, showing what should we do or should be done to achieve the purpose. A richer offer for the audience that would meet their expectations. New training opportunities for cultural manager. A huge part of your application will focus on the detailed description of the activities, which have to be drafted according to the logic. Activities, results, project goal, general objectives. Activities are planned like a specific tasks to be carried out during the project. Conducting a survey to find out audience needs and tastes, or elaborating a pilot training for cultural managers. And every project proposal needs to address to a certain problem or few of them. Therefore, to write a good project, you need to know and write down the problems. In fact, I have already introduced several of them, but a well-formulated problem needs to have a clear context in one sentence, which may answer to the following: when and where the problems arise, from whom is the problem accurate, has anyone tried to solve it, and how. Also, you need to show why it is relevant in two sentences, which may require answering to the following: what will happen if the problem is not solved? If it's not solved, what will be harmed? Is the problem seen in other contexts? Why does this problem needs to be solved? So it's quite important to link to farming of the problem, because this is one of the basics for a successful proposal. Then getting to know the project problem. Firstly, you need to be sure that the problem is real. And then the key of the research should be to find an evidence that the issue exists. Below, you can find the main guiding principles on how to do the right when the problem is real. So we are not assuming, find out instead. You need to evidence instead of beliefs. Avoid confirmation bias. Actively look for evidence that may counter your beliefs. Do not confuse my needs of my organization needs, my partner needs, and the target group needs. Do not confuse them. We are using different research methods, like checking quantitative data, like in the Eurobarometer, Eurostat, and different databases for the countries and the regions. Checking literature at good examples, searching for articles, initiatives, organization, experts working on this problem. Carrying out a survey, so asking your Facebook friends, followers to fill in a questionnaire for the issue. Making interviews with people affected by the problem. Note that it may be too much to do all the above, but remember, we do not want to demotivate you. So you need to use one of the tools in order to be able to define the problem and the actual problem. And then going to interpreting the collected data and the facts. Once you have collected enough facts and confirmed that the problem is real, that you're going to solve with your application, with your project, you should be able to move on with the next phase, which is interpretation. That means that this includes formulating your problem, creating a problem tree, and creating a stakeholder map. So on the right, you can see the stakeholder map, and on the left, the problem tree. The problem tree is a method to see the problem from all angles. First, you start with its core, identify the problem. And second, you look at the effect of this problem. And lastly, you dig into the root cases So you can see how the problem it's starting and how it's flowing. And the problem can be broken. So the advantages is that the problem can be broken down into manageable and small subtasks. This enable a clear prioritization of the factors and help focus objectives. And also it identifies the issues and arguments and can help you establish the different kind of scenarios. And the stakeholders maps, in short, it's a visual representation of all the groups, people involved in your issue. It also requires showing how these different stakeholders are connected between each other. And you can see an example that is help you understand the complex of how they can be connected. But actually, you need to allow you need to keep informed about the project to get their support, so the people that are going to get involved in the project activities to address the problem properly. And you can have a stakeholders, target group, beneficiaries here in this map. And the logical framework approach, as I told before, it's a systematic and analytical planning process used for result-based planning of a project or program and for associated monitoring and evaluation system. The basic idea of the logical framework approach is to condense the planned project mechanism down into a relatively simple linear logic model using a documented situation and a problem analysis as a point of departure. This forms the basics for planning the monitoring and evaluation system, and whereby the project outputs and effects are recorded by means of quantitative and qualitative indicators. Lastly, the project mechanism and the monitoring and evaluation system are summarized in a table which is named log frame. So the logical matrix is an important part of the project, and I'm not going to go so deep into analyzing it, because in the residencies actually we are not using so often the logical framework. Of course, it is good to know the SMART outcomes. It is recommended to make your outcomes to be specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time bound. And this is part of almost all the proposals. And going to the next slide, so visualizing the project proposal and the reason behind it. So you need to get a quick overview of the big picture, have more space to think, you think more creatively, so not be limited to words only, get to deeper layer, and it may be easier to see links. So it's very important to visualize everything and to be able to understand it in order to prepare a good proposal and in order to present your idea in a better way. So the project proposal needs to have a beginning and an end. To put it differently, it could be imagined as a chain of a linked up activities and results. Everything is connected. One leads to the other until you reach the impact from the A to Z. Hence, we would recommend visualization of the project plan accordingly. Proposal could be imagined as a chain of a link up activities and results. And there are a lot of tools that you can use for this project visualization. So draft it first. Pen and paper, probably the easier method. Yes, it's not made for online collaboration and certainly not for the times for social distancing. But if you are willing to get a feedback and ideas from the others, we would recommend you tools like the other that are, for example, digital. Google Slides, not a very common choice for making a project plan, but however, it does the job and allows for easy and effective online collaboration. The tool is free for charge and medium in difficulties. PowerPoint, same as above. Online collaboration, you call all the the people to have a OneDrive installed in order to be your Microsoft equivalent in order to be able to work on a common PowerPoint. Mind is Meister, an easy-to-use tool that allows visualization of the project concept, collaboration with others, and a lot more. It's free for the basic package and paid for the premium users. Word. Microsoft Word, probably the least friendly tool to valorize the project, but it can be done. So online collaboration requires all the people to have a OneDrive installed like PowerPoint and the Microsoft Office in order to be able to work on the Word. Of course, we have a mural. We have a different kind of online platforms that give you the chance to share your ideas commonly and try to visualize to present the project activities. And of course, like a last step before the project writing is to give your plan a time frame. For this, we recommend to make a so-called Gantt chart. So do not be afraid. In essence, it is a table where the first column present the project activities, while the top row is for the time units. And the cells in between are highlighted or somehow marked according to when a specific activity is happened in the project. Why to create this Gantt chart? It is because it show you the duration of the project activities and to check that some activities might not have enough time, some activities can overlap and extra capacity for additional activities. The end of this is the end of the journey. So that means that once you're happy with how the project time frame looks like, you ask some more feedback and can congratulate yourself that you have finalized the activities and everything that is necessary to prepare the proposal. And commandments for a good project proposal. Before writing the proposal, you need to set out a clear idea, a set of strategic priorities and preferences, a detailed plan of activities, their content and schedule. Choose a proper program donor for your project. Reflect upon the guidelines in the descriptions. Show the evaluators that you are an expert in the field selected. And experts that are only human, don't make them iterated. Be concentrate, brief, answer the questions. Do not refer to unconfirmed information. Don't contradict yourself. Don't promise something you're not able to realize. Please don't forget that your proposal is going to be read by several experts and they need to understand it. Find a balance between the sophisticated and normal language. Find the highlighted keywords. Use your copywriting skills. It's not like we want to write something very specific and very high level oriented. We need to write something that is easier to understand. Time will be your enemy during the process of application writing, so start early and planning carefully. Make sure you put all the valid documents in order if their documents are requesting. Ask other people to read it through before submission. Triple check everything. Don't get bored while writing. If it's boring for you, it will be boring for the others. Make breaks and comebacks while drafting. So these were the general how we were working on the main principles on the funding proposal, and now we are going to present you how to prepare our application for funding.
So hello from me. I'm going to continue this presentation. So this section is about how to prepare your application for funding, and it consists of theory and practical knowledge creation using the principle of group work later on. So in order to start writing your application, of course, you need to find a project partner. But as let's take it step by step. As you can see over here, we have the step 1. You need to find a suitable call. So the most appropriate platform in order to find these calls are the Funding and Tender Opportunities portal. You can navigate into the system and using also keywords in order to find the most appropriate call for your needs. Moreover, in that kind of in this application, as a step 2, or as you can see here, there is a search machine. There you can find also the partners. And in order to answer also how to find the appropriate partners, as we had this question in the chat, you need first, as Elena said, to read the call and the description of the call in order to find the right partners, what kind of organizations you need, or if you need companies, NGOs, or public authorities, and from what kind of sectors, if you want from the art sector only, from inclusion, etc. The third step is to register to the EU Funding and Tenders portal. So this is very easy. You need only to push the register button and create an account with your email and the specific password. Of course, the PIC number, as previously mentioned, is one of the numbers that you are going to need in order to take part in the projects that are included in the Funding and Tenders portal. The fourth step is to write your application. Of course, if you open a call, if you choose a call into the tenders portal, you are going to see in the description part different templates that are provided from the Commission in order to help you to write your application. Most of the times, the templates that they provide, it's the part B, it's the application form with specific specific directions and descriptions of what you need to write in each of the sections. So use the templates, read the templates in order to be easier for you to write your application. The fifth step is to convince the evaluators. So for that part, also in this under the calls are the evaluation manuals. In these manuals are described the procedures that the evaluators follows in order to assess your application. It is described also the grade that each part of your application will receive, the minimum and the minimum grade that each part of your application can receive. So you need to be very clear when you write your application in order to convince them to approve it. And the sixth part is where to get help. So by registering in this portal, you are going to find different kind of announcements for all the calls that the European Commission has. They organize very often info days explaining the rules of its call, the deadlines, the eligibility criteria, and also how to set up your application, not only on the paper, but also in the online system. They explaining also the supporting documents that maybe needs to attach into the online system. And of course, there is an FQA, Q section, and Q&A section, sorry, in order to submit your questions and get some answers from them. So this is the funding and tender portals. It's the central electronic portal for all EU funding and tenders, and it is managed by the European Commission, as I mentioned before, and used by itself and other EU services for their grants, prizes, and procurements. The portal has two parts. The first part is a public section with general information, and my area, which is a secured personalized section used by the participants for managing their proposal and grants contracts. So for security reasons, as I said to you before, you need to create your account. So you go to my area. My area is based on EU login account, which is a unique identifier for individuals. And all you need to do is to open your account with your working email address. There is also the role and access rights. And of course, the PIC number, as we mentioned before. So in my area part, you can have access to non-public information on your proposals, projects, contracts, organizations, and so on. You can register in this area your organization or yourself as natural person. Under this area, there is also a section that you can sign contracts, submit reports, cost claims, invoices, and receive payments. Of course, you can communicate with the EU services about your ongoing projects and contracts. And for experts, and it is very important for experts working with the EU services. So you have also this opportunity if you register in this portal, not only to submit your applications and either as organization or as persons, but also to register like an expert who wants to work for the European Commission. So the European Commission advertises grant opportunities through the call for proposals. So the call for proposals, as you can see in the screen, includes all the information needed to submit the proposal, and you need to read them very carefully. So the calls, because I don't want to say it again, the calls includes all the appropriate information, not only in the document, but also in the section that you can see here on your screen. There is the call identifier, there is the open date and the deadline of the submission. And if you open the description of this, you can find all the templates that I mentioned before. So the most important thing is how to read the proposal. So as a first step in the development of an EU project, and prior to the decision to apply for EU project funding, you should make certain preliminary considerations. So these considerations include your general precondition to be eligible as beneficiary for EU funds and the cost-benefit balance of the implementation of your project. General preconditions for the implementation of an EU project usually include sufficient expertise in the area of intervention and financial independence. The project call will give further specifications concerning the financial and content-related capacities of beneficiaries. Another condition for funding is that the organization exists for at least 3 years and it is in possession of sufficient own resources to guarantee the pre-financing of the project. Thus, the foundation of an organization in order to implement an EU project is not possible. The financial incentives for the implementation of an EU project depend very much on the size and eligible costs of specific project, the larger size and the duration of the project, the higher are the eligible staff and material costs. Even though EU projects are quite popular amongst organizations, you should be conscious of their considerably high administrative costs, which often cause additional personnel costs. Furthermore, in case of delays with the payment, your organization must be able to bridge the period of delay with own resources. Another important aspect for the planning of a project proposal, which is often underestimated, is the choice of the right program. Some EU funds cover similar thematic fields and overlap in the supported activities. So it's very important to clarify what you want to do and what you want to define as needs and activities during the drafting procedure. And of course, according to the call and the regional, national and international needs, in order to bring added European added value through your project activities. In principle, one project idea can be used for the elaboration of 2 different proposals. However, in order to have a realistic prospect of success, it is important to adapt a proposal to the respective project program's objectives. A general guideline for the choice of programs is the principle of speciality. For example, the program in most of the times addresses a very specific topic. So you need to take into consideration that this must be your priority, to take this topic as a main theme of your proposal and make a more in-depth analysis and involving different kind of activities in order to prepare your idea. Certain programs, usually those managed directly by the European Commission, requires the cooperation of European partner organizations. However, finding a reliable and competent partner is not always a straightforward exercise. And if you wish to avoid hours of online research using internet research engines, you can sometimes find project partners listed on the official website of the program. Other ways to find project partners is to include yourself in different European conferences on topics of interest and use more recent search tools like Facebook and LinkedIn. And of course, in order to find also possible partners, except of using the portal, you can also search for other projects, previous projects or ongoing that are similar with your idea and making connections through the portal. So the self-awareness part. Here, the self-awareness is a diagnosis of your professional environment, which will help you to identify real needs, experience so far, and expectations for future. So I would like to encourage you to answer the following questions. What do you have at your disposal? What is visibly missing? What could potentially create a problem? What would be a potential to capitalize on? So it's very important to make these questions to yourself in order to help you to write your proposal. Once you'll be able to answer to these questions to yourself and also writing the answers on the paper, then you are ready to start preparing your proposal, because that means that you are aware of what you want to create, of what is your idea and how you want to structure it, what kind of activities you want to put in, and of course, what kind of partners you want to finalize it and submit it. So the eligibility criteria. As we talked about it before, but the eligibility criteria are very important because, and of course, it is also mentioned in the call of proposals manual. So you need to read very carefully about this topic, as if you are not if you are not eligible to participate in this project, then your project is going to be let's find the word, to be not approved, and the evaluators are going to inform you that you haven't been approved because of this criteria. So the eligibility criteria can be geographical issues. For example, sometimes in the call of proposals is written that you need to engage at least 5 organizations from 5 different countries. And you need to read it carefully. Sometimes it is written that you need to engage 2 organizations from the same country, from 5 different countries. So please read it. Of course, another criteria is the type of the organization and its establishment. So that means that in the call is described if they want to participate companies, NGOs, different kind of associations, SMEs, natural persons, public authorities, etc. Of course, there are the internal financial and partnership rules. Each call gives a specific budget to use to prepare your application and to calculate how much money your actions are going to cost, and of course the duration. In the call is described that the minimum and the maximum duration of each project that each project needs to have. So, about how to build partnerships. Applicants are jointly responsible for their proposal. Each organization is responsible for submitting correct information in the proposal. The coordinator submits the proposal on behalf and in the name of all applicants. So the applicant, the leader of this of the project, is very important to take care of all these things during the writing procedure and also during the submission, as it is one of the responsible persons who needs to declare that he is responsible of whatever is submitted into the system on behalf of the partners. For the consortia, the coordinator is also responsible for managing the project and submitting the project. Also, he is responsible because it is the intermediary organization between either with the European Commission and the partners, and also with the agencies if we have an Erasmus Plus project with the partners. And of course, he is responsible to take care of the reports during the implementation of the project till the final report. And of course, your project may involve third parties and certain types of third parties to help with the project activities, subcontractors, etc. But beneficiaries can use subcontractors to implement certain parts of the project and charge the price paid to the subcontractor to the grant. And most of the times, the subcontractors the subcontracting, it is mentioned in the application, and it needs to most of the times to be identified during the writing procedure and before the submission. So it is very important also to know how to build your consortium. So first you need to read the call. You need to understand the call and, of course, the topic that is oriented to. So read the call carefully and then identify the contributions and the partner types that you're going to need. List the things you and your core partners should or want to do, because this is going to help you in the writing procedure and also in the activities. You can also check your networks and your partner networks in order to find possible other partners to participate, either as partners or as associated through supporting letters. Consider a value chain. Invite current and potential clients and suppliers. Check the max grants and consider how many partners will allow. So here you need to see how, which is the limit of the number of the partners that you can engage in the project, to see the maximum grant that you can receive, and then to distribute the budget, the grant during the drafting procedure according to the activities and that its partner is going to participate and involve. Consider also the number of countries and how many countrymen you invite, and estimate max grant per country, partner, and communicate it. Every time you have to make calculations and have to do the budget for the other partners, it's very important to prepare it and then to share it with them in order to give you feedback for some parts that maybe they want to change or to add things. So the partner search, I'm going to tell it quickly because we already told some things. The main tool that you can use is the Funding and Tenders Opportunities portal. There is a very specific search machine that you can search for partners and also to see if someone wants to lead a project. You can also find the partners when responding to a procurement procedure as a consortium, and more information on both is available under how to participate. Information and services to help in finding partners exist on a range of subjects, including the idealist partner search, which is mainly but not limited to information and communication technology. Education partners, to find partners for EU funding opportunities in education. Enterprise Europe Network Cooperation Opportunities Database, which includes innovation and technology profiles from international companies and research organizations, and online manual guidance, which includes guidance for finding partners. So the registration of your organization in order to participate is to participate in the central programs, the programs that are included in the European, in the Funding and Tenders Opportunities portal. It is important to have your PIC number. So in order to gain your PIC number, you need to follow a very specific procedure. You need to register your organization into the portal, and you need to fill some mandatory fields. The mandatory fields is the legal name of the company, it's the VAT number, it's the website, it's the legal representative, and the address of the company. And proceeding, you're going to need to, it's going to ask you to upload some documents in order to be checked from the from the Commission in order to be able to validate you. And then you have your PIC number. It's a very quick procedure, and you have your PIC number in some minutes after the submission of this information. Another important number that you need to have, and it's the OID number. The OID number, as previously mentioned, is about the Erasmus Plus project. So it's the same procedure. You need to register again your organization. You need to declare the legal representative, the name of the company, the VAT, where the company is situated, the country, city, and to declare if it is a private company or public, profit, for profit or not profit. And Also here you are going to, you need also to upload different kind of documents like statute, financial identification forms, in order to be, your national agencies to be able to validate you and to participate to the Erasmus Plus projects. And this is the application packets. As you can see here, we have as an example the Creative Europe program. The Creative Europe program. It is the application packets includes of course, the call that you need to read first, the application form, which includes very specific information about how to write it, and specific descriptions of what you need to include in the different topics that the application asks, and the budget, the budget template. Sometimes the budget template is provided from the call, but sometimes it doesn't provide it, but it is online, and you can find it online in the online application form, where you can fill directly the budget of the partner. And here are some tips to have a clear plan of what you want to achieve and how you will do that. You are writing not for yourself, but for the evaluators. Complicated words and sentences are not good. Please use very clear words. Rereading your answer from the start to the end is not a waste of time. Make sure every paragraph is logically linked to one before and after. You should have the projects and goal in mind in whatever you write. Unnecessary information and empty words should be avoided. So that was about the how to prepare your application. I know that I was very fast describing this this part, but I think that you're going to have now the opportunity to see how is to design a project step by step. Now we have the practical part, and we are going to be divided into different rooms. So Yorgos is going to explain us about that. So thank you very much. And if you have any questions, you can write it on the chat, or you can send us an email. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Kopanarova and Mrs. Thomaidou, both, for your presentations. So, as we said before, now you're going to be separated into breakout rooms in order to work in groups with the help of Mrs. Kopanarova and Mrs. Thomaidou in order to frame a project idea and design it step by step. So, I've created 2 rooms with 15 people in each. I will open them now, and you will be automatically directed into the rooms. Now, if by any reason, for example, some technical issues, you are thrown out of the whole session or something like that, just follow the link to the meeting again, and I will accept you back in. And lastly, 2 separate chat sections have been created for the 2 rooms, and I will type in each chat of the 2 rooms the instruction of the exercise. So thank you, and I'm opening the room to start the exercise. Was there a problem, Helen?
Yes, I I hit some buttons, so I was thrown out of the room. Can you put me back in?
Yes, I will, sure. Give me a minute.
Here. Yeah.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes.
Hello.
Hello.
Excuse me. Hello, Helen.
Hey,
Can-
hi.
Hi. Okay, I will try to open my camera. Yes. Yes. Ah. Okay. No, it was now right. Okay. It's possible to see me. Ah, I have here some.
Yeah,
light.
now I see you. Is it Barbara? Yeah.
Okay. Yes. Hi.
Hello. Hi.
Excuse me. I will make another lighting. Yeah.
No, it's okay. It's okay for me.
It's okay for me. Okay. Okay. Hello.
Hi.
Nice to meet you.
You too.
Okay.
I don't know if anybody else is here in the group.
Not yet. Anyways, Jorge and Dan.
Yes, I'm here.
Hello.
Okay.
Hi.
And I think Mats is on the subway. I heard some noise.
Okay. Hi, Dan.
He's listening. Yeah. Yeah. You're muted.
Hi, Matt.
You're muted, Mats.
Sorry, I'm here. I just left the subway.
Yeah, we can
Hi,
see
everybody. Hi.
Hi.
So I was trying to read the task, but then hit the wrong button, so I got thrown out. So, but does anybody know the task?
The cost?
No, what we are supposed to discuss.
I have no idea.
Give
No
me
idea.
just a
So,
second.
I
This is
mean,
Georgios. Can you hear me?
We have to
Yes.
take.
Yes.
It's not necessary to be our project. We can use fantasy and make project or any part of art, like just imagination, and to make plan for financial purpose, right? Of grant of European Union. Yeah.
Yes.
Am I right?
I don't know.
No doubt. I just drowning in the bureaucratic vocabulary here. You know, it's just so.
So can you all hear me?
It's
This is
so
Georgios.
I agree.
tedious.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes, this is Georgios. So see, due to the button that you were thrown out of the meeting, can I accept you back in? So now I have to assign you again to the rooms. So if you just give me a minute to be in the actual rooms, okay?
We are in a group here, so we're fine, I think.
Okay, so I guess I just hear you too. Okay then.
We just need an instruction.
Yes, but you're not in a room with Miss Alexandra Thomaidou or Elena Kopanarova, right?
No. I guess we're 4 persons here.
Yes, that's what I'm talking about. So give me a second in order to assign you again, okay?
Okay.
Thank you.
So, what organizations are you from, or are you here as artists?
I'm sorry, Barbara. Go ahead.
Yeah. No. Okay. That maybe usually this seminar is for painters.
Yeah.
Are you painters, everybody?
No, I'm from a theater group. So
Theater group. Me too.
yeah.
Me too. And Helen and Matt.
We are working at Census, which is a study organization. So we're actually working in some projects, but we are
We're colleagues.
So we know them and the challenges of getting funding.
Oh yes, big challenge.
Yeah.
Yes.
And Matt.
Yes.
I'm a colleague of Helen. Helen used to be my boss, and now I'm Helen's boss.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we're always looking for projects, ways to continue with our business.
Okay, so which part of art you would like to prepare?
Well, I think it would be, and we can discuss like theater projects or art projects. I think I have been working with both. Right
Okay.
now, yes.
And a third colleague of us is quite a famous painter in Sweden, our colleague Anders.
You're in a very windy place, Matt. You have a lot of environmental noise going on there, my friend.
Sweden.
Yes.
So I'm on my way back. I have to pick up the kids. That's why I'm so sorry about that.
No, there were no problem.
Okay, then it's looking like it's on us.
It is. Barbara, where are you based?
Yeah, me theater as well.
In Sweden?
No, Czech Republic.
Oh, really? Oh, okay. I like your interior decoration with the.
Thank you.
Dan, can you hear me?
Yeah,
Can you both hear me?
it looks cool. Oh, and you've got some nice. Is that your own art on the wall behind you?
No, it's Mr. Reon.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I don't know, 10 minutes, it's really short time.
Yeah.
Which type of theater do you make?
Look, we are based in Lisbon, in Portugal, but actually I am currently in China. For me, it's almost midnight here in China. But, you know, I mean, I think this whole issue of funding is obviously critical. You know, it's so difficult, especially in this kind of economic uncertainty, for artists to survive. You know, they need support. But I just found it impossible to listen to all that because it's just so terminology heavy that you know, I've been, you know, working for the last, you know, I've been up since 6 and it's now midnight. It was too much for late at night, you know. No poetry, no lyricism, no painting, no color, no poetry. So, you know, not very interesting.
Okay, I understand.
Mm-mm.
So sometimes the economical side is very important, right? So
it is.
Barbara and Dan, can
Yeah.
you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Can you hear me? Okay.
Yes.
Do you see a button in your screen that says to go into the other room, the separate room? There has to be a
The other
button.
room 1. Yes, I see that.
Yes. Can you click it in order to be in the room, to go into the room? This is the main room. Okay. And Dan, do you see a button?
Oh, yes. Join room 2.
Yes, exactly. Thank you. Julia, can you hear me? done with the exercise?
Yes, we are ready with the exercise.
Okay,
Just
let me accept all participants again.
Yes, everybody's coming here again.
Hi, Alessia.
Hey.
How are you?
Hey.
Hello.
Okay,
So first of all, thank you
back.
very much for your interaction. It was very helpful. In our room, we were not there were no so active participation, but actually we came up with a very good idea with Suresh. So it is something very interesting. So I'm starting presenting what was, or Suresh, do you want to present what we have discussed?
No, go ahead. You've written on the notes. I'm sure you'll be okay.
Yeah, I do notes, but yeah, okay. So we have started with the problem that the emerging artists are facing, which is the virtual reality and the new tools. And we came up with the idea that we can engage the virtual reality into the theater and into another field in order to have this interdisciplinary interaction. So we came up that we are going to have a theater play in which we are going to combine a virtual reality with actual actors and use the specific techniques and the techniques that we are using for this specific play for also in a gallery, presenting, having a different kind of paintings. And for each one of the painting, we are going to have a virtual reality like an actor that is presenting the history behind if each one of the painting or the problem that the painting is presenting. So combining these two fields, disciplines of the art, so the painting art and the theater art, we are going to be able to show the interaction among the old-fashioned, let's say, traditional artists and the virtual reality, augmented reality that can be used. And we are going to have like a hybrid stories, and different kind of activities have been decided, like focus groups, residencies to scale in the to help in the skill exchanges, mobilities for the planning of the activities, active interaction among the teams, the different teams, and actual implementation of the theater play and the gallery compositions, and also then feedback and the research for this interaction among the virtual reality experts and the directors in the theaters and the galleries, and how they can adapt their plays or their activities to the activities of the virtual reality. And we have decided that we are going to need one theater, one gallery, two companies or organizations that are working with virtual reality that can be also research centers, and one university in order to collect all the information and all the principles and upskillings of the experts that was necessary during the whole process. We are going to need 36 months because there are different procedures that can be run before and after the actual implementation, and probably we are going to submit it under the Creative Europe calls for not small, mid-scale, bigger project, and about 1.5 million budget. And what I didn't say, I believe that was everything.
I think
very briefly.
I think that was basically it. Just to clear that, just to add, the inspiration for this was H.R. Geiger's paintings for the Alien series of movies. H.R. Geiger basically painted the alien creatures.
We didn't decide about the topics of the theater play, but we said that it's possible to be social oriented. So it can be decided with the partners that can be included in the partnership in order to have something common among all the participants.
And the idea was also to do sustainable storytelling, because the general materials of, say, set design and background creation that happen in theater in virtual realities are extremely sustainable. You don't need material. You don't need to cut down trees to make sets, which is great. Yes. And you get painters to become set designers. You can get Salvador Dali to make a set design, which will never happen in real life because he doesn't understand physics. I mean,
and actually we have a co-creation and collaboration about the different fields. Okay, so this is the idea we came up. We are waiting for the second room idea to check.
Okay, actually, we inspired a little bit from the Creative Europe and from a call that the Creative Europe had about the social inclusion groups. So we tried to have a project about co-creation and collaboration and oriented to the music sector. But supporting the social group of the Ukrainians, if we can to do something like this. So we decided to have because it is a population which now needs to be, is obliged to be split in different countries because of the war and all these traumas that they gain. For example, they need to promote their culture and maybe to make networking with other people. So we decided to have here different kind of activities. For example, as a first activity to have a platform about co-creation, which is going to be used for matchmaking and submission of their lyrics and text of storytelling, because we are going later on to have this storytelling to be composed, to have it as a composition from musicians. We are going to have capacity building also about digital tools, and we talked with Alessia about virtual reality in music and interactive technologies. We are going to have residencies, online live co-creations and cooperations, and live concerts with social impact. We decided that we are going to have approximately eight partners. Maybe we're going to submit it under the Creative Europe project if there is again an open call about the social inclusion. Otherwise, we can do it under the Erasmus project. The project is going to have approximately 2 to 3 years duration. And what I have to say more, I don't remember.
There is a question in the chat.
Yes, and I can have a cooperation with the other team, with the project of Sures and Elena, in order to have both theater and music together.
Yeah, great minds think alike, clearly.
Yeah. Just restrict it to not so many activities, because you're losing the point
Focus.
if you have a lot of activities, and it will be difficult after to focus yourself when you're implementing the activities. But it is great that we have this interaction and this brainstorming, just to know that the calls are also open for simple residencies. So in the simple residencies, you can also have your own project. So that means that you can have, for example, the idea how to combine the theater play with the virtual reality, and you can have a residencies in order to set up a little bit how to understand better how the virtual reality it is created, how you can work with the virtual reality before setting up your own plans. And again, in the residencies, we are following the same structure. We are following that we have a specific plan, we have a specific budget, we have a specific objectives and plans, but there the things are smaller, and we are speaking about the small activities, small part of the activities that we are discussing as part of the big project. We have a question about the UK regarding applying European funding. Unfortunately, most of the new programs that have been published do not include UK in the as part of the eligible areas. Of course, each one of the calls that are published is different, so we are checking very specifically the rules of eligibility of the calls in order to be able to invite our experts and friends from UK to participate. Probably something new is going to come up, but till now, there is no additional information about the UK participation. So it was from us today. So thank you very much for your participation. Please know that in the chat you're going to receive a link for the evaluation form. So please take 5 minutes of your time in order to complete the evaluation form and give us your feedback about the quality of the today trainings. And I don't know, do you want Alexandra to add something?
No, I don't. I don't want to add something. Thank you very much for being here today and for the interaction. And I hope that this session helps you to frame your ideas and put them into action.
Okay, so have a great weekend. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot.
Bye.
Okay.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye
And
bye.
thank you, Nampuri, to
Bye-bye.
you for
Ciao.
very useful
Thank
dialogue.
you.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.